Hello everyone, good evening and welcome back to the Artemis Esports Championship. You join us for the penultimate round of the season in Sao Paulo, where the championship, the all-important team championship, may I add, can be decided this evening. Talking you through the action this evening. It is just myself, sadly. I've been left alone. But I hope you're able to enjoy the stream, whatever it is you're up to this evening. 19 drivers thus far. We might well have a 20th joining us in qualifying very, very shortly. But I'm excited to get stuck into this one. Here's the state of play in the championship. Nexus Racing lead us away on 410 points. Their 3-4 finish last time out wasn't enough to prevent a PSR 1-2, and so they have closed the gap to within 14 points now. It is very, very tight at the top. NRX need 43 points over PSR this evening to clinch the championship tonight. It's not impossible, but I don't think it's very likely at all. Let's hear what we've got in the chat. Good evening, Noah. Good evening, Ismail. Good evening, Kirby. Well, maybe. It might have to be that sort of see we can find to draft in sort of thing. But short qualifying in play then. Drivers out there for their first runs on the soft tyres. You can get in 4 around here, so drivers will be opting for that softer option of tyre. And Sasha Andre might well kick us off here. See the first one around? Oh no, I believe there is a Williams in front. And of course, it's our drivers' champion, NRX Rusty. And I know I'm told so many times that it doesn't matter. It's a team tournament. It's still a nice achievement for NRX Rusty when you consider his successes this season, picking up 4 race victories. His P4 last time out was inferior to his teammate Sindri. His P3 has rewarded him with another start this evening in a crucial point of the season. On board then with NRX Rusty, coming through turn number 9 now, and next up is turn 10, the Rico D'Apato. Go down into 3rd gear, up to 4th, up to 5th, up to 6th. The bog standards. It's McLaren in front of him, taking that wide line at Jun Sao, trying to prioritise that exit. And DRS wide open then, and hugging the inside to set what is surely going to be an impressive benchmark. It's a 107.102. And then I think we'll have Sasha Andre next up, and TIR, who are bottom of the team standings. He comes into the pits with bit of pace on that. Smokey picking up a tiny bit of slipstream from Rusty, and he's on his way now with a bit of clear track in front of him through turn 6 and 7. 6 is the Ferradura, 7 is the Curva du Larangina. That's not right at all, is it? Request a Brett. It might be John Lewising, I'm afraid. But of course, the Grand National is on. I'm sure many of you will be eager to make financial related predictions. Smokey then to the inside to finish his lap. He slots in 5th behind Egger, Sindri, Wilson and Rusty. It's a very exciting top 5 at the moment. BRT Joe Murphy, of course, bit of a name change for him. JM13 Furphy. Apparently that's what he's going with now, but it's his choice, not mine. An FRA Arch up into P4. Strong start to his qualifying session. He just said he'd been on iRacing for about 10 days, not straight, obviously. But with an hour in his Alpine to readjust to the F1 game, he's been complaining of some input lag this evening, so it is hard to adapt between the two games. But as an aspiring sim racer, I'm sure that FRA Arch much prefers the feeling and the racing spectacle over in iRacing, where, of course, this circuit is on that sim. And so, again, that might feel a little bit different as well. That's if he's paid for it, of course. Wilson back into the pit lane then, and just over a tenth behind Rusty. And I tell you what, we're talking a tenth come the end of this session as a huge margin. That'll be barely anything. Splitting these drivers around this 2.677 mile long circuit. You can probably hear the announcer in the background saying Interlagos translates literally to between lakes. It does. It's right. Good fact. And even the game is now getting in on the act. Ismail asks, how much of NRX practice? Well, we saw a hot lap a couple of days ago on Rusty's Twitter. It's a tournament they're taking seriously while they have the opportunity to. And can you blame them? Both sides fielding a very strong lineup this evening. Wilson and Rusty, 1 and 2 at the moment. Those two just 5 days away from the start of the F1 Esports Challengers Series. Now, JT then, for TV8, the main man himself, and a guy that asks me every Thursday morning to provide the pit lane images for the circuit. Good effort. P9 with a 107.605. Getting a good 1v1 around Austria over the Christmas period. Arguably bottled the win on the final lap, which was a shame. I think that should have been brought back over Easter. But if not, maybe to kickstart or end this game cycle. That would be good fun again. Shizou Book. Been a while since I've said that name. Good to see him in that car. And of course, Shizou in a difficult spot at the moment. They finally got themselves off the bottom of the championship last time out, scoring 8 points in the United States. And I believe it was just Ilton Racing. But Book is in this evening, and he's gone P7 for his first run in this session. Might be a little bit late, but do get your poll predictions into the live chat. It'd be great to hear who you think is going to take pole position, and it could be a vital point in this championship should it go the way of NRX or PSR. Liam Bowman then, picking up a slipstream from his teammate VSR Egger. Practicing for recent races, in particular Monza. They did get it all wrong as they go side by side across the finish line. Liam Bowman actually lost a bit of time through that final sector, which is very, very surprising to say that he did get a nice tow there from VSR Egger. Liam Bowman in P10 at this moment in time. Sasha Andre invalid out of ERS anyway. This could be an in-lap for him. Shizou Ilton starting his second round lap of the circuit. SLR Oz, who often do have one or two lag concerns. His commitment again, driver we appreciate. Apparently Liam Bowman has just woke up this evening. I'll tell you what, SLR Oz will be sticking a middle finger up to that. Bowman has done 0 practice and has been awake for like an hour. Wow. That's not ideal. VSR chasing Bunga Racing Team. 2 points they gained at Kota, but still they trail by 23 points. And I think 22 over VSR could do it to secure P3 in the team standings this evening. No, not 20. Hang on. 32. I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check that in a moment. I'll be honest. I don't tend to lie. Sometimes I do. I'll be lying. FG Patrick has made his way into the session, which is fantastic. And apparently, is it Demi? Is it Dimmy? Is it Dammy? I'd like to know what the X replaces. Dommy. Oh, God. Dommy. I'm sorry. I do apologise. Yeah, the X usually replaces a vowel, so I'd guess there was something missing. I've just let you take in this lap from NRX, Rusty. Not missing it at all. Crosses the line, finds half a tenth to place a lap on the board on a 107.050 before Wilson crosses the line and goes even quicker with a 107.013. A tenth in the top three at the moment. PSR Smokey with a 107.1. Sindri next to cross the line here out of the top four, and of course PSR and NRX occupied at the moment. Can Sindri go to the top of the timesheets? Not quite, but it's in and around that 1/10 margin to pole. What an incredible grandstand finish to the session we are going to have in the final 6 minutes. FRA Arch, is he still going here? Oh, he's around. I was going to say, why is there no Alpine coming through on that camera angle? It's because FRA Arch has spun around at turn number 5. Well, on the entrance to turn 5 on this latest attempt. VSR Egger now going at it again here, and in the first sector he's lost 3/1000ths of a second, and the German who was criticised a little bit by his team for rather playing Rocket League over doing Brazil practice, I tell you what, has shut them up so far. Good going for the driver, 7th in the championship, who has scored points in the last 7 races. No, it is 6 races because we've had 2 sprint races. Forgive me for that one. VSR Egger almost a 10th up now, and he could pip Arch here. Oh, he's had a slide. Good car control twice there by VSR Egger to keep that AlphaTauri pointing in the right direction. Certainly emphasised by possible lag. He's come into the pits anyway, but that could have been a nasty end to his session for VSR Egger. Goodness knows how he's kept that one out of the wall. Liam Bowman invalid as well, so VSR wasting an attempt there, you could argue. Good evening to Emmanuel. First time chat. I don't quite know what that means, but good evening to you. Hope you're having a lovely day. Sasha Andre in the Mercedes for TIR, the lead of the 2 cars right now. And Mercedes, well, they'll need a bit of luck, and they can rely on past experiences in Brazil for that. Since 2010 and their re-entrance to the sport, Mercedes have only ever DNF'd once here through Valtteri Bottas in 2019, and they've scored points in every race since then. They need points tonight to try and shrug off that unwanted last place title. This is Neapolitan and means wow. Wow indeed. I'll note that one down. I've been asked to use a Sky F1 phrase, so if you have missed anything so far, do make sure not to hit the red button, but to hit the follow button. Here on the AEC Twitch channel, we've got the finale next season where, should it not be decided tonight, the championship will go to Abu Dhabi. And where have we seen that one before? Yeah, it doesn't need mentioning a million times, I get that. But in a Ted Kravitz notebook, he will say, Oh, I'm not going to mention it, but mentions it anyway. Got a Wilson fan. Wilson will take the pole and the first place in the race. It'll be a very good build-up to challengers, of course. Him and Rusty, two of the favourites on Xbox. Harvey Cowan coming back as well, making that a very exciting front three prospect. FRT Rain then is going to be first up here, and well, no immediate slipstream into turn number 4. Down the Retro he goes and into Decida Delago. He'll turn in nice and early, just riding as much as that inside curb as he can. Has a slide on the exit, abandons the lap. Quickly fading away lap here for FRT Rain. Now get into neutral because, well, that is ERS saving technique, which I only discovered 2 weeks ago myself. Which is a hill Tom. Decida Delago a lot smoother for him. Next up, the Ferradura, turn 6, double apex, turn 7. And you almost clip the grass there on the entrance and the exit, and it's invalidation. It looked like he cut the inside. So easy to do. A clumsy place to pick up warnings when you're in the race. And is that impeding, or is that Aston Martin on an outlap? Both Aston Martins are on outlaps, so that is very fortunate. But you've got to keep your eyes on the mini-map, especially when you abandon it. It's very easy to assume, okay, everybody's in the same boat as you, but that is not the case at all. Wilson pushing at the moment. Rusty has just started what could be his final lap of the session. We'll go back to Wilson, who's 3/100ths down as of the first sector. The second sector split comes up before the final proper corner on the circuit. And this could be a lap that dips us into the 1:06s. Has he got the exit spot on? That's the key factor when running down this 1.4 kilometre long flat out section of the track. Wilson to the line. Can he extend his advantage? Yes, he can, by almost 800ths of a second. Now has a 10th advantage over Rusty, who's 3/100ths down in the middle sector. Likewise to Wilson. Has he found time in the middle sector? Meant to stay the first. Just prior to that, a little bit of time. But has the exit been good enough? And likewise, it's a make or break point on the lap. DRS wide open for NRX Rusty. The straight line speed wasn't enough. Second place for the Nexus Racing man, Smokey. Slightly down on his first sector as well. And that's a 5-place grid penalty for SLR somebody. The broadcast thing is in the way. I'd assume it's Oz, based on that fact that name looked a little bit shorter. Well, that's embarrassing, isn't it? But we'll go back to Smokey, because he is well over a 10th up here. And can that 10th be enough to catapult him to pole position and make it a PSR 1-2? Goodness me, that's a Red Bull in the middle of the track. It's second place for PSR Smokey as they look to build on that 1-2 they secured last week. Cindery, it's make or break for him. All three of the top three have completed their laps. Rusty, nowhere to be seen in terms of giving him a slipstream up to the line. 45 thousandths up. Neat exit for the Brit, who secured that podium last week. Can he out-qualify Rusty this time around? Not that it makes a difference. They just need to secure 3 and 4 here. Cindery crossing the line within 8 thousandths of his teammate. NRX will start 3rd and 4th. PSR will share the front row. And Egger comes back into the pit lane, having qualified 7th behind Joe Murphy, their main rivals for P3 in the team's championship. What an exciting end to qualifying. It's Wilson, your pole sitter. I've just completely missed Liam Bowman. I appreciate that because I'm trying to work out what's going on with this alt account. Apparently there is an alt account in the session, which if there is, I'm going to have to restart the lobby. But in the meantime, here are your qualifying results. 23,000 separating the PSR duo. NRX line up third and fourth, and Liam Bowman placing BRT Joe Murphy into a little bit of a VSR sandwich. A stonking lap at the end from the Scot who just woke up, so we've heard. Shazoo Book qualifying well in P8 ahead of FRA Arch on that hour practice, he quotes. Gabor in P10, FRT outside the top 10 in 11th and 12th. Shazoo Hilton setting the same lap time there as Rain, JT, Luca, Sasha Andre, Domi, Nico, Oz, and alter count Patrick apparently qualifying last. I always thought there was a Patrick Leger. I don't know what's going on. We're restarting the lobby. I can't believe what I'm seeing. There's I shouldn't laugh. Patrick isn't even on the... I will just leave and set us up again. Ah, bollocks. Right, you know the drill. Twitch chat, please, please, please don't. For I've got loads of lobby settings. Back to Brazil. Weekend structure. Want qualifying off with a custom grids. Weather and time of day. Sunrise. Oh my god. It wasn't like that before, I promise. And then customize whether it was overcast, clear, apparently. Let me just check the assist restrictions, etc. Cloud, sun. Yeah. No, looks good to me. So... What's everyone had for dinner tonight? Pizza and homemade fries. Love it, beer. Love it, beer. Good to see you. I'm going to go back on the stream and grab the order so I can start getting us going here. AEC. If not, I didn't grab the screenshot because I didn't know what was happening at the time. So hopefully it's on the bastard stream. Right. Right, here we go. So, Wilson is going all the way up because he is this evening's pole sitter. Has his teammate Smokey joined? Not yet. Not yet. I just prefer it when everybody's in because I have to keep double, triple checking that I've not misplaced somebody. Hopefully nobody's in a rush, am I right? There's Smokey. Okay. It's going to be a lot of button spamming, so I apologise if you can hear it. Where's Rusty? Sindri, Bowman, Joe Murphy, Egger, Book, Arch, Gabble, Harv, Rain, Ilton, JT. Sorry, I have to think out loud. I am really bad with this. Sasha, Dommy, Nico, Oz, and then whoever was meant to be racing. Right, I'm going to double check this. So Wilson, Smokey, Rusty, Sindri, Liam, Joe, Egger, Book, Arch, Gabor, Harv, Rain, Ilton, JT, Luca, Sasha, Dommy, Nico, Oz. And that's it for the 19. That looks okay to me. Are we having the 20th man? Randomised grid. Yeah, it's a good job my LB doesn't actually work, Noah. I was never falling for that. Just to let you know. But thank you. Max 19 drivers. It is now. 19 plus me, 20. Apparently I'm boring. The 20th driver isn't racing. That's final. We are missing one of the FG doers. Sindri, who lines up fourth, joins us in the chat. He's always got a moment to spare for us. Best of luck to you. He watches the stream during the race. I tell you what, I don't actually know anybody who really does that. So, you're one of a kind. And I'll speak very highly of you throughout this one. Oh, Joe Murphy's here as well. We've got all the drivers joining us. Let me just check how many people are watching this evening. I mean, we've dropped a few, haven't we? Follows from Nathan Builds and Games, AMS Risks, Emmanuel, James, all coming in with follows this evening. The growth of this Twitch channel has been lovely. Request a fact. What have I got? I've got nothing really. What? Did you know that in 2019, Max Verstappen's Red Bull became the first Honda-powered car to win interlagos since Ayrton Senna's McLaren in 1991? Joe Murphy redeemed Deutsch sprechen. Deutsch sprechen. I don't know what that means. German speaking? Hello. I should probably tell them when to ready up, shouldn't I? Ich bin dick. Appreciate that, Adrian, but I am not Tom. I'm not going to say any more German, just in case it's highly offensive. I've just reminded everybody for set up fuel and strategy, and of course, Sindri, because he listens, he's picked on me. JT has said go, which overrules my go at 40. But that's fine. Maybe I left it a bit too long. I'm too busy speaking to our wonderful chat. Feel free to interact throughout the race. I need a little bit of support for this one. So it's great to have you, of course. Anyway. Welcome to Sao Paulo and welcome to the race which could decide the championship. Where all 5 lights are coming on now ahead of the drivers. Head out, Sam, we're underway and Wilson will lead us away. It's a PSR front row lockout, just a short dash of 195 metres into the first corner, and Sindri is already duelling away with Liam Bowman, who's got the inside into turn 2 as we advance through the Senna S's then and through Curva de Sol and onto the Retta Reposta we go. Next up, the Descida de Largo and FOA Arch pulling alongside Shizubook for an overtake into turn number 4, and can the Brit get down the inside of the German? A few cars well off the track. That's SLR Oz. That's a little bit of desync there, it looks like, as Ilton ghosts through some of the cars back there, but everybody gets through cleanly. 1 week ago, we saw all 19 drivers finish. Could the same feat repeat itself this evening, as we're on board with SLR Nico for the Summit League Racing team, who are looking to steer clear of that bottom few spots have gone pointless in 3 consecutive races. They're looking to turn that fortune this evening. But still, and that's Dobby going off the track and into Junsao. A little bit of lag there from SLR Ross. When I've got a host stream, do everything all at once, it might well exaggerate some of his problems, but I do feel for him in that sense. PSR Wilson then leads us away. It's an unchanged top 4. Sindri fended off Liam Bowman. All 19 drivers on hards, looking to complete a one-stop. It is due to get sunnier later on this evening and in the race. So there is no threat of rain for the time being. But PSR 1 and 2, at the moment they will flip the gap by 15 points. That will be enough to take the championship by, 16 points, therefore take the championship lead by 2 points. And with the fastest lap, it would be 3 this evening. Only some overtaking further back. Elton and Luca going at it. Moving further forward. As Wilson sets a seemingly unbeatable fastest lap at the moment. And further back, Nico and Elton. Another move there by Elton. Biggest gainers and losers on the opening lap. We've not seen as much change as we usually would. Of course, we saw JT and Domi going wide early doors in this race. 3 positions gained for both Nico and Sasha Andre. Domi losing a lot more ground there down in P19. He's already lost 2 positions. Now he's lost 4 seconds of race time, which might well be difficult to recover. Everyone was in DRS Wexrow, but as you rightly said, no longer the case. I'd just like to urge him to not retire. So that would give us 19 finishes, 2 races in a row as it would stand. But there's always bound to be a collision in this race, especially with so much on the line as Rusty edges closer to PSR Smokey. DRS now available for the first full lap in this Grand Prix. And those all the way down to P18, excluding the leader, PSR Wilson, will have that luxury. The top 4 in formation as per. Welcome, Harvey Cowan. You're watching on some of your rivals this evening. I hope you're well. Been a long time since I've seen and spoke to you. So, I hope you're well. Move further back and JT has got ahead of Oz. And a move further forward is Sasha Andre. That's FRT Rain skipping across the grass. Wonder if there was a collision there or the Ferrari man has just lost it on his own. But he's under further pressure from SLR Nico, who tries to go down the inside at turn number 10. Manages to fend him off with dirty tyres. It's quite simple to just loop it around once again, and fastest laps this time for NRX Sindri. So that pace just starting to come to those behind who, like I said, have that luxury of DRS, almost nose to tail the 2 NRX drivers. I doubt there'll be any sort of swap. It doesn't seem effective to interchange these guys early on here. Ian Bowman 8 tenths behind, and just watch as that gap starts to open up. It might well become a little bit more vulnerable. His ERS situation still good though, as with all of the top 4. PSR in the nicest possible position in terms of ERS. Sasha Andre has just started to open that gap to 1.1 seconds, and we'll go and watch him here as he fights to try and get in within that 1 second window of Harv, of course. No DRS, no party. That won't help his cause. A slide coming out of turn 10. At the Rico de Pato. into Jun Sao, and that's yet another spin for FGE Domi. Replicating JT had no DRS this time for Sasha Andre, which might mean Shazim Hilton would go for it nice and early here and try to get himself back into that 1 second window. Down the inside goes the Frenchman, a very nice move on Sasha Andre as he'll try to fight back through the exit of the Curva de Sol. And down the Reta Aposta we go. Just doesn't quite have enough ERS to try and fight back here. I don't think it'll be too good if those two were to start battling, going wheel to wheel. It's that advantage. That gap in front would only become ever larger. Pit stop for FG. Domi's coming to the pits for a set of softs, which also isn't the tyre you want to be on at all during a Grand Prix, unless it's a late dash to the finish. The only penalty of the evening awarded to Sasha Andre. Bisson just runs ever so slightly wide. Oh, and that's our first DNF. And that 100% record from last week is gone. And it's a full course safety car in the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Everyone well past the pit lane, with the exception of JT and Domi, of course. Domi might fancy getting rid of those softs already, but a very strange place to stack your Mercedes. My comment earlier about their successes in Sao Paulo. Mercedes have a car in the wall, and TIR don't like the look of that, considering their position in the championship. Gives me time to have a breather. And a swig of Coke. Fluid Coke, that is. What else would it be? Are we going to see anybody try something a little different? You're allowed to cross that line until the separation point. It's no surprise to see drivers maybe attempting a little dummy. But Sasha Andre, FRT Rain, and Nico. Oh, that's a crash. And that is a bit of bodywork. I mean, that looked like a Mercedes front wing. Whoever's it was, it's not been changed. Interesting scenes down in the pit lane. Give us a Coke review. Well, I do often go on about Little Diet Coke. That's what it is. I'm not trying to get a brand deal or anything, though I would like a brand deal with Train Sim. I'm doing this stream instead of watching the preview event for the Midland Main Line. I can't believe it. I might have to put it on while we're under safety car. I'm not going to plug my Twitch, but you know where to go if you want to see me play that. It's lap 8 of 36. Domi stays on those soft tyres, interestingly. When our Challenger's starting in just 5 days' time, the Xbox boys will kick us off. And of course, next Thursday marks the end of the Artemis Esports Championship. I assume for F1 22, unless it's time for a 8 or 9 race championship during the middle of challenges. Brilliant idea. Why not? We've still got Tier 1 and Tier 2 on this channel, though. Recommend those races very highly if you want to see some of the best assists drivers Can't believe I've just called myself a good assist driver. Ah, you're leaking it now, Noah. I'm not promoting my league. Luca has left the session. We're about to get green flags. I'm on board with Wilson. He's violently warming up those Pirelli hard compound tyres, and there'll be 11 drivers behind him doing the same. There's 5 drivers warming up a set of mediums and a single driver warming up a set of softs. This could get interesting as his foot's to the floor. We're racing again in Sao Paulo, and Sindri's got a good restart, but it's on his teammate Rusty, so I don't fancy him to make the move into turn 1 unless he wanted to potentially throw away the championship. Half down the inside of Gabor, is it? Yes, it is. Gabor has the inside into turn number 2. Opened up his steering ever so slightly. That's Rain going through, and he's hit his teammate! Unbelievable! The FRT duo have collided! Coming through turn number 3 at the Curva du Sol. Rule number 1 has been broken before our eyes. And that will need a review from the bosses over there. Harv and Rain, who qualified 11th and 12th, suddenly see their races in complete jeopardy outside the points in P17 and 18. And that was a really real bit of movement on that restart lap as Wilson continues to lead us away for his 10th lap. It could well be a grand slam. If he was to pick up the fastest lap as well, it would be some achievement if he was able to do that. But maybe we're talking a little bit too soon. Here comes Arch. He's committed to the outside here on VSR Egger. Will he try and go the long way round? Yes, he will. He'll sneak up the inside at turn number 2, and there's wheel banging with VSR Egger, who gets up onto that curb. Very easy to bottom out and start spinning there. He's weaving his FRA Arch of Team Valor. Don't know why. Apology? Deal with it, maybe? I always wonder what goes through a driver's mind to start weaving down a straight and what they quite mean by that. Some of our medium runners have made progress, including JT, who was down in P18 at the time, and that's wheel-to-wheel racing between Ilton and Sasha Andre. Andre's got the inside line into turn 10, and that's a move from SLR Nico on JT. They're all trying to have a little look. DRS has been re-enabled, and that will be provocative to some drivers, telling them start getting a move on. Track position would be rather valuable for the pit stops that will be around the corner. And a switch down at SLR. And like I said earlier, they're looking to end a drought of points. 3 consecutive races they've not scored in. P14 would be enough to get 1 on the board at the moment and pull 1 point away from FGE, who are the 8th place team in the championship. Shazoo Book, as it stands, scoring 8 points. That would match their best tally of the season. Hilton adding an extra 3 to that. Let's go down to Sasha Andre, because I quite fancy him making a move here. Yes, he does. Down the inside, he's hit Shazoo Book with his front wing, and somehow the Haas doesn't spin. That was dearly late on the brakes. I'm baffled. Well, that aside, as I reorganise my Chrome tabs, forgive me, Sasha Andre might have another go, and this time we'll try and do it without hitting the Haas. He's completely out of battery here. The Mercedes pulls to the inside late on the brakes once again, and Sasha Andre is up into 9th place. Again, that 1 second gap starting to open up. The split, top 8, bottom 10. And another look at our winners and losers this evening. Sasha Andre now up 7 places. I'm still not quite sure whose front wing came off. But if it was Sasha Andre, I'm actually not sure. But it's a purple middle sector, and just like that, he's got himself back into DRS on that set of medium tyres. Yes, he'll have to pit again, but a 2-stop on mediums, if you have 2 sets available, is no bad thing when there's an early safety car. We see teams every now and again just going, okay, we'll go for it. And this is one of those opportunities, and boy, did TIR need it this evening. Penalty for Domi, of course, speeding in the pit lane there as well. Yeah, it is a Soccer Saturday situation. I don't know whose front wing went flying off in the pit lane, unless it was the speed board, the 80 kilometers an hour board in the pit lane, and I've just mistaken it for a bit of front wing and a bit of contact. Then that would be embarrassing, and it's a very me thing to do. On board with Rusty, and just often seeing that gap within 2/10. But nobody is in a rush, unsurprisingly. Fastest lap at the moment belongs to Sasha Andre. So that championship lead at the moment would just be 2 points, I think, in favour of PSR. But you can scrap that for a moment because Rusty's trying to go the long way round. Smokey defended the inside line well. And so Rusty was wide through Desida de Lago. They both live to fight another day. You just never know what's around the corner. But in the case of turn 12 and NRX Rusty, it could be a chance of getting past PSR Smokey, because I think he might well be out of DRS of his teammate Wilson. And yes, he is. He'll be saying, slow down. Never mind. He's into the pit lane. Smokey speeds. And how big of a penalty could that be in the Artemis Esports Championship? A clumsy 5-second penalty to pick up in the pit lane. He's trying a 20-lap stint on mediums. And when you could start to get vulnerable towards the end of the race with 1 or 2 lap older tyres, that penalty is going to weigh on his mind even more. Goodness me. Huge moment. there was an opportunity to maybe take the championship lead tonight and have it in their hands going into the final round at Abu Dhabi. But will that be the case with 20 laps to go? And into the pits comes Wilson, and into the pits comes Sindri. Any speeding this time around? No, there wasn't. Rusty sets the fastest lap of the race, so he's now unleashed and can show us what he can do. The driver's champion, of course. Someone will say, yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, well, it's still, it doesn't change the fact, does it? 4 race wins to his name this season. Couldn't quite find a 5th, spinning out at Monza late on. But this in-lap needs to be sensational. Sindri came out of the pit lane 1.2 seconds behind Wilson. Wilson came out of the pit lane 1.4 seconds behind Smokey. That undercut, absolutely huge around here. So, again, it's now up to Rusty to see where he can lie in this. And Sav rightly saying it's Wilson's job to try and generate a 5-second gap. And it already looks like he's dropping a little bit of time to Smokey. Maybe entering a little bit of a management phase while Smokey pushes hard and early on those tyres. Rusty avoids that speeding penalty, but into the pits he comes. We'll flick back briefly to Smokey to see where relative he will come out of the pit lane. Here comes Smokey, crossing the start-finish line, and as I thought, pushing very hard early on here. Setting the fastest lap of the race with an empty battery. Into the first corner he goes. You can just see he's relying on his McLaren to stick with him. Saying he ordered a Fanatec a couple of days ago, becoming one of the latest drivers to upgrade to that incredible bit of kit. Rusty rejoins the circuit in a net P3 as he was then, and Arch trying to chase down Liam Bowman, who's just exited the pit lane. Warm tyres for FRA Arch. It's rare you see drivers utilise their ERS coming out of turn 5 through 6 and 7. Could it be a late lunge from Arch? He had a little look into turn number 8. I think his mind just said to him, nope, too risky, which is absolutely the right decision. But you can just see the confidence he has, the Team Valor driver. Unsurprising that he might say, I'm just easing into this because of my lack of practice and my gaming time on iRacing. I believe bookies are 5 seconds. Yeah, it is. We've got Gabor and Ilton now into the pit lane one by one. The drivers out in front clearing the path for our leaders. Not that they're obliged to. They're just following the same sort of strategy as everyone else. And half 2, 3, 4. Trying to stay out there and gamble on a safety car, you'd assume. Arch down the inside at turn number 4. Nice move there. Waited for the perfect time, waited for the opening, and through goes Arch. He's now trying to catch up to his great rival Sindri. And take on NRX and PSR, which I tell you what, Team Valor will like that a lot. Had some good results in recent weeks, especially in Monza. JT speeding into the pit lane from second in this race. Very good, Snaggy. Very good. For legal reasons, I won't repeat that. Joe Murphy fancies a move here, and what a season he's had. This time to the outside of Liam Bowman. He's tried to switch back here, and he's going to try and sneak up the inside. Liam Bowman has got to leave him room. He's still there, is the Alfa Romeo. Front wheel to rear wheel, surely not the long way round. Again, it'll be a switchback attempt for a potential lunge into turn 8. Not quite for the man second in the Drivers' Championship, having raced all season. Yes, I know, the obvious. But his results, 2 second places, a 3rd place to his name as well, a 5th last time out in Kota. So that's 7th that he's in at the moment. Okay, this is starting to add up. So Ali's saying somebody has broken the pit lane boards, which explains what that flying thing was. It wasn't a front wing. Which then also explains why Smokey, Book, I believe that's it, JT, Ilton and Dommy all have been caught out. So those still to make another pit stop, i.e. the top 5, will have to be careful. But thank you for that, Ali. That has now started to bring things together. Solo comms with the help of a live chat is always top notch. That's all I'll say. Right, no holding up at PSR. 6 tenths is the gap between Smokey and Wilson. That 5-second penalty will drop him down into potentially below Arch and into that sort of gap again. Another speeding penalty. What did I say? I'd have to be careful. Sasha Andre wasn't, and a 5-second to add to his 3 might make his chances of points a lot less likely. Rainbow Snake badge? I disagree. Let people use line if they want to use line. Edgar got closer to the back of Joe Murphy. Was unable to clear Liam Bowman. He had a really good opportunity to through turn 4 and through turn 5. He's now dropped 6 tenths away from the Scot. He's looking to pounce on Arch. Overtook him a lap after the outlap, if you like. As the sun starts to poke through the clouds. Scripted weather following a restart this evening. If you're just joining us and we're a little bit behind schedule, we had an impersonator join the lobby. So that has been dealt with everybody in the correct grid slot. And we're having a very good race this evening. Smokey has cleared FRT Rain without much hassle. Wilson will be next to clear the Ferrari, and a much superior exit on those 10-lap fresher mediums, and Rain just opens up his steering, yields off the racing line, and makes it very easy for the PSR duo. Rusty getting in late on the brakes. He's got to be careful. Rain might well do the same sort of thing and let the NRX duo go. It just really depends on who he wants to win the championship, and it should never work like that. But he's going to go wheel to wheel with the Williams, almost clipping his right rear tyre, and that would have been absolutely crazy. That's all I've got to say about that one. And again, Sindri through with ease down the inside at turn 10. So 4 overtakes on that lap. The net top 4 overtaking FRT Rain, who was... well, it looked like he tagged the rear of Harv. And FRT having a very miserable race as of now. Harv still to pit. He's 24 laps in to that hard stint. Always have the argument with degradation on the game. Do you actually see it on the tyres? I think you do. I don't know how well it comes across on live streams for people, but I can certainly see that they're not looking that healthy. Let me know your thoughts on the tyre wear debate. I'm just comparing it to Rusty's nice looking mediums, and they look very good, very smooth, very nice. About to see a little bit more traffic start to influence this race, and Nico will be the next one to consider yielding. He does so simply by coming into the pit lane. And you know what? Fair play for that. He speeds, so he's the next victim of the lack of marker boards for the pit entrance. It's difficult to see the white line because you're going over a crest. Let's go on board with Smokey again here because, well, you'll start to see how much he catches up. I'll flick away briefly because that looked like a wheel bang between Sasha Andre and Shazoo Book. Sasha Andre on the 3-lap-old medium tyres. 8-second tyre penalty to his name, so no matter how hard he pushes, I just think if Book responds by staying in the DRS, it is not going to matter. Well, I don't know about appeals. But bear with me, because PSR Smokey doing the right thing, I think, and waiting for the DRS, because Harv will be without it. Coming to turn number 1, and will he come into the pit lane here? No, he won't. He's going to stay out and just make the most of a difficult situation, and Wilson might go and double up here on the Ferrari. Ooh, bit of contact into the first corner. Certainly a misjudgment there. You can understand why. Harv now just sort of blocking off PSR Wilson. I don't know if he intends it, but to the inside Wilson goes. I thought for a moment that Rusty could have maybe pounced on the McLaren. And again, just minding the rear of Harv, because you don't know what's going to happen with a car that's on 26-lap-old hard tyres, and that is a very rare mistake for Joe Murphy, and it looks like he's come to terms with somebody and had a brief collision. If it was anybody, it was... actually, it might have been VSR Egger, because I don't think he's gotten away very well either. 2.6 seconds now behind FRT Rain, and almost 5 behind his teammate. Somebody's saying Rain, somebody's saying Egger. It's all happened on lap 27 of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Harv now out of the way of the top 4. Still stays out for another lap as SLR Ross doesn't speed into the pit lane. That might be somebody informing him. Just be careful. Go slowly. We've got so much to gain here with everybody around us when we pit on penalties. And here we go with Sasha Andre giving Gabor a little bit of a nudge through turn 2 and through Curve de Sol, down the Retro-Aposta. Again, 0 DRS. ERS to Sasha Andre's name. Gabor, likewise, just trying to work with what he's got to clear Egger, who isn't in the best of scenarios either. I'm not sure who is at risk of a penalty here, considering drivers saying... viewers in the live chat saying it's Rain. Viewers saying it was Egger. Viewers saying it was actually Joe at fault himself. So I'm in no place to comment on that one. Unfortunately for Joe Murphy, a quite incredible streak is going to come to an end here, but VSR might be delighted in 7th and 9th, outscoring Gabor himself, and that's Harv. Well, he went so long just to pick up a speeding penalty, and he's going on to a set of mediums for 8 laps. Let's try and finish this race off here. Now, let's look at the gap to the leader, because, crucially, Smokey is out of 5 seconds to FRA Arch, and Team Valor will see that gap and go, Arch, we're a 10th away from a P4 here. We've also got to look over our shoulders at Liam Bowman, so do what's best. I think what's best here is to just focus on keeping the position, because that's going to be a hard task to stick within 5 seconds without the DRS that Liam Bowman will have behind him, ready to overtake. Back to the interval, because I know people appreciate a brief look at the leader gap. if I do the maths for a 1-4 here, that's 30 plus 18. That'll be 49 points scored, including the fastest lap for PSR. And for NRX, it would be 25 plus 21, which is 46. So, yes. PSR would close the gap by 3 to 11. Egger clears Rain, and Gabor and Sasha Andre trying to clear the Ferrari as well. And I'll tell you what, a 22-lap stint on the mediums is equally as impressive as Harv's attempt on the hards. And Gabor going the long way round here at turn number 9. Good move there on the struggling Ferrari, you have to say. And down the inside goes Sasha Andre, looking to clear him as well. And there's contact on the exit. I think Sasha just got a little bit too greedy on the exit of the corner, not quite knowing where FRT Rain was, or simply just assuming he'd yield. But no harm done in the end. And I'll tell you what, this is an interesting debate. If one penalty is appealed for the brake marker being removed, then you've got at least half the grid queuing up to say, I want mine removed too. Which could be a nightmare, because it's totally subjective. Because if you go 10 mile an hour over, and somebody only goes 1 mile an hour over, then where do you draw the line for not knowing where the line is? I suppose you've got to come prepared for all situations. And my opinion is none of these should be appealed. Appealed successfully, might I add. You can try. If I was Gaffer Steward, I'd say no. Simple as. And I think drivers have got to approach the end of this race assuming that none of them can be appealed. And here goes Gabor around the outside of Egger. Down the inside goes Sasha Andre, trying to get one over on Egger as well. And he's going the long way around this contact, and both are around late in the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Absolute heartbreak for Sasha Andre and Egger, who have put on a show for us this evening in terms of overtaking. And here goes Oz as well, trying to clinch some points here for Summit League Racing Team. Wheel to wheel, two drivers certainly not in the best connection scenario. Round the outside will go Sasha Andre. He might be getting a bit desperate now, so much so he's almost clipped the grass. SLR Rolls stays in front. Late drama here, and FRT Rain losing a couple of positions there as well. Are those medium tyres finally saying, just coming to the pits already? I don't know how he's still out there, to be honest. 24 laps on those medium tyres. Another penalty for Sasha Andre. This time for a track extension. I tell you what, Sasha's got away with a fair bit. Almost hitting Book early on in the race. Well, he did hit Book. He was just lucky not to spin around. I will happily show penalties because there is a lot. There is a lot to try and get your head around. I'll leave you with that for the remaining few laps. And Nico again feeling the pinch from Sasha Andre. He'll go down the inside anyway. Contact. And this is getting silly. Towards... Oh. What do you even say? What do you even say? Sasha Andre well off the track, spins as his Mercedes can't cope with the rough and tumble it's given him. He's given it. Sorry. Wrong way around there. And that's Egger around as well. That looked like SLR Nico involved. It is just absolute chaos. Oh, God. Guys. Do I stay and watch this? I think I should. It's another attempt at an overtake by Sasha Andre. Leaves it late to pull out of the slipstream. Almost wheel to wheel over the start-finish line. Egger yields. And a rare case of chaos for Egger. He's usually well out of trouble, but I think tonight has just not been his night. And TIR will go pointless for the team bottom of the standings. We've got 2 laps to go when we cross the line. Smokey leads the way ahead of Wilson. That 5-second penalty, not ideal. But PSR actually gives themselves more of a fighting chance. And hang on a minute, they've inverted. PSR Wilson retakes the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. In terms of net position, it's only ever been held by PSR, and Liam Bowman has got clear of Arch into the first corner, but Arch trying a switchback in prioritising the exit. Got to be careful not to slipstream and punt somebody off through turn 2, and Arch to the inside. He's got enough ERS to say, I'll have that one back. Thank you very much. Into turn number 4 he goes at the Descida de Lago, and Arch makes a perfect response and could be on the cards to finish P5 here, but he'll have to replicate said manoeuvre on the final lap because Liam Bowman with 27% ERS, these two in a very similar situation. It is going to be all about defence. Oh, that's a rear lock. At such slow speeds. Hang on, hang on, hang on. We're racing on the final lap as Smokey had Rusty to contend with. Sindri takes over. Sindri to the inside. And can he clinch P2 on the final lap on the circuit? It can for now. But for how much longer? Because Smokey will have the DRS again. That gap's so big in front to Wilson that Sindri will not be able to defend, but Rusty on the attack down the inside of turn number 4, bit of contact as he forces PSR Smokey wide. Still wheel to wheel here, and they've got to be careful because Arch now 4 seconds behind. NRX have played this one superbly and tried to make Smokey lose an extra position. They could completely nullify each other's advantage. Oh, what a slide! A magnificent save by Rusty, who's pinched on the inside of turn number 9. We've waited so long for the top 4 to start giving it a bit of battling on this final lap. Somehow they all come out in one piece, and Archer's absolutely flew on this final lap and has stayed ahead of Liam Bowman. Meanwhile, PSR Wilson, your deserved winner this evening. What a drive from the aspiring challengers winner this season. Sindri comes across the line in P2, and likewise another key challengers figure in Rusty finishing 3rd. Smokey is relegated to 6th following that 5-second speeding penalty, and NRX have extended the gap going into the final round at Abu Dhabi. The championship will be decided in 7 days' time. Liam Bowman picking up a jolly good 5th behind Arch in an even better 4th. Goodness me. Well, some quick maths. 45 points for PSR. 46 points for NRX. Well, the championship gap, 15 points. It is still all to play for, and we almost leave Brazil as we started this evening. It is set up to be a grandstand finish to the Artemis Esports Championship season. Let me just go down and make sure I've got all those. 1 DNF, TIR Luca causing the only safety car of the evening with a crash. And I'll tell you what, I give my full credit to Rain, who's actually got to the end on those medium tyres. An incredible effort. Considering the situation at FRT. So many penalties, I didn't really bother. Yeah, plenty of drivers we can shout out there, but a strange race. When you consider the pit lane board, an unusual amount of speeding penalties, of course. Appreciate that, B Hill. Thank you very much. Thank you, Zach. Good watch. Yep, try my hardest on a solo night like tonight. But I'm sure, and I'll need company for next week. But that will do me. Interview. Oh, Sindri, do you want to chat? 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 Go on then. I've invited you. We'll do it. What's the... oh, it's the F1 Life, isn't it? Sindri, welcome. Oh, there's two of you. You've duplicated.
Yeah,
I can't believe you've duplicated. Anywho, consecutive podiums for you in the Artemis Esports Championship. Congratulations. Pretty strange race, all things considered. Not much battling out in front. How was that for you?
Oh, it was great. It was quite a boring race, but at the end, really spiced it up. Kettle wants an invite as well, so Kettle's coming.
Kettle's on his way. I was just going to end it there and then, but you know what? We've got time.
Send it.
Rusty, welcome along.
Hello.
I just asked Sindri about the race from his perspective. It livened up at the end for you. Thoughts on that last lap battle?
No, obviously there was a bit of contact on the exit last corner. That Smokey obviously went wide. It kind of came across a bit, nothing illegal. But then obviously I had to give that back, but then it gave Cindy the opportunity to go up to Smokey, which was really good. And then once we got ahead, we were able to hold them up, so that the cars behind us would get in within 5 seconds, so that Smokey would drop more points, and we can try and extend our championship lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And it worked out perfectly with Smokey with that 5-second penalty dropping down to 6th at the end. That's, I think, a point you've gained over them. So you almost leave... I think so. If my maths are correct, I'm sure they'll be subject to change somewhere. But leaving Sao Paulo pretty much as he went in, was that, you know, a good scenario for you, considering the slim lead you'd had?
Yeah, I think 2-3 is probably the best result we could have got today. I think a win was on the cards, but it was hard. Wilson's pace was great, and having Smokey be able to hold us up as well, it's just too difficult. We didn't want to risk too much, as we didn't want to drop too many points. So 2-3 was mainly what we were hoping for. And we were thinking Smokey was going to get P4, but luckily guys behind managed to catch up, and we've gained, as you said, the point, but that 1 point could be all that matters.
Indeed. On to Abu Dhabi next week, and I know it's a very different scenario, of course, with challenges looming. All the best for that. By the way, how is the
Thank
team
you.
going to prepare for that one?
I think we're just going to go at it like we do every week. Aim for the most points possible. Obviously, it's the biggest race of the season, really. But I don't just because it's challenges, I don't think should be any difference to how we approach the race.
Good to hear. Well, thank you both for joining me. I've been lonely all evening, so
Yeah, I thought you were
I know.
a cook, to be fair.
yeah.
I've been
Your
hearing
boss-
you. You've been moaning.
Your
You've
boss
been moaning
didn't
about all the
reply,
chaos.
so
Oh, he doesn't even reply to us, man.
He
Never
left me
mind.
on
sort him out. Sort him out.
We'll get him sorted, man.
Absolutely.
Even
Right.
Where is Loveland?
I don't know.
I
That's
haven't
what I
spoken to
mean.
him in weeks.
Came back from Alton Park and just came back for about 10 minutes, spoke and chatting.
It must have been that tent with Levi.
I bet he's busy on another helmet design.
Probably, won't be surprised. Or some sort
Yeah.
of design, anyways.
It was a brilliant helmet design. I will promote that to anybody who is still watching. Go and check out the Loveland Designs Twitter to see the helmet design he made for Joe Loke in the GB3 Championship. So a lot to like about NRX. I'll tell you that. And people often, put me in the wrong rumours. I'd like to deny all rumours and say I wish both teams the best of luck for next week, and may the best team win. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.